Hello and welcome to Performance Check. My name is Rob and this is day 6 of my 30-day world in conjunction with the successfully backed Kickstarter Dead Man's Guide to Dragon Grin from Absolute Tabletop. For more details, follow the link below. The question for day 6 is this: how prevalent is magic in your world and where does it come from? No, this question gets asked a lot, and throughout the community that I operate in online, talking about D&D and role-playing games, I would argue that this is the most common question when it comes to world-building discussions. The level of magic, and that's perfectly natural. Magic is a powerful force, and if it did exist in a particular world, it would completely define how technology, how civilization, how cultures form. So it's an important question, but it's one that gets addressed quite a lot. But regardless, here we go. How prevalent is magic in the Nine Kingdoms and where does it come from? Now, the Nine Kingdoms is a post-high magic setting, meaning there used to be an awful lot of magical phenomena and individuals with vast magical powers. But thanks to the reign of the God King and his seneschal society, magic is looked down upon as a dangerous act, an uncontrollable force, which you could argue it actually is. Magic has been policed, magic has been heavily controlled and regulated. The reason it's been allowed to do so is obviously through the force of the God King's reign, but also through public propaganda. Events like the Endless Night, the Endless Storm above Lost Cavalon, the Great Cataclysm itself within the Reign of Chaos, like all of these things are used as propaganda against those that would use magic. It is painted in a very unforgiving light and told that if it isn't controlled and regulated by the necessary authorities, then it will bring destruction. The magisterium was formed on the basis of this, that only those within the remit of the God King's power and presence would be allowed to use forces of the arcane. And so it is that the magisterium, along with the greatest fighting force of the known kingdoms, the witch hunters themselves, seek to find any apostates, anyone who is illegally practicing magic, and stamp them out. This led to the rise of the Rogue Arcane, a freedom-fighting movement of the magically gifted. But obviously they are looked upon as terrorists, apostates, and cultists. It's a terrifying time if you're living in the Nine Kingdoms and you're an apostate. Every day would be a daily struggle because it's very difficult to hide that you have magical abilities if you don't know how to mask that. That is just something that can be read by a very, very simple read magic spell or detect magic spell. The rules of magic are quite clear in my world. They're by the book, essentially, by the D&D book. So if a spell says it can do something in the player's handbook, then it absolutely can do it in the Nine Kingdoms. So in the rare occasions that you do come across magic, it can be pretty frightening. So magic isn't exactly prevalent in the Nine Kingdoms, but there are pockets of it that still exist, for good and for evil. Now, where does it come from? Well, the divine magic comes from the God King himself. For those that swear fealty to him, they can tap into his vast pool of power and they can use it to further their ends and also his. If you believe in the old ways, if you remember the forgotten ones, you can tap into the power of the old gods that existed before the Nine Kingdoms were unified. Powers of the arcane, well, it's a bit ambiguous as to where it comes from. I don't like to explain too much where, that sort of stuff comes from. It's better that way, I think. I have hinted within the Lawkeepers campaign that there are different dimensions, so I can imagine that powers of the arcane come from a different dimension. But yeah, it's something that is rarely tapped into, and it is something that has had a lot of its knowledge stripped away over the years. So A lot of these things now are secret and forbidden, which I find much more exciting than if you knew everything about it. The application of magic in the Nine Kingdoms is also very interesting. If you check out the Lawkeepers campaign, I know I keep plugging it, but if you check it out, you'll see the wonderful player Locris Planetoid playing Azarax, the Drow Illusionist. And he plays a spellcaster in the Nine Kingdoms incredibly, not only because he's really good with the spell descriptions, but also because as an illusionist, he is 100% trained to mask his presence, to be a magic user that can hide from those that would seek to destroy him, because that's what life would be like if you're being persecuted for your innate magical abilities. That's it. So thank you very much for watching. This was day 6 of my 30-day world. For more details about that Kickstarter I mentioned at the top of the video, follow the links below, and I'll be sure to catch you next time. Thanks for watching. I hope that all of your performances are up to standard.